Howdy ho there, my lovies. Welcome back to Crazy But Not Dangerous. I'm Shorty Vaughn. And we've got all the things happening around here today. It's a day that ends in Y. So, we've got appointments and running around and what have you. And I need a quick, easy dinner. I got these boneless, skinless chicken breasts a couple of weeks ago over at my Albertsons for 97 cents a pound. And I got my Crockpot out. Got my Crockpot liner because, I'm lazy and I don't like to scrub. And sometimes it springs a leak and there's a little bit of scrubbing involved, but it's not too bad. It's not terrible. So let's go ahead and get right into this. What am I going to be making today? I'm going to be making a creamy artichoke and spinach chicken. And yeah, right in the crock pot. And it's going to be delicious. I'm all ready for it. And these chicken breasts are enormous. As my friend Karen would say, they are indeed of the Dolly Parton variety. So I'm just going to give these a little bit of a chippity chop just to get these in more manageable pieces. And I'll just go ahead and get those right on in there. I'm hoping for leftovers out of this meal for tomorrow's lunch, but we'll see how that goes. How are you all? What's new and exciting? Tell me down below. Inquiring minds want to know, baby. Yeah, absolutely. So over here we have had just a relaxing weekend. We've enjoyed good weather. We've had a little bit of a cool down. So yesterday it was only about 77 degrees. And it was fantastic. So today it's supposed to be 87 degrees, which I'm still not going to complain about. Yeah, we're just doing all the things over here. We're just living our lives. And yeah, got some great bargains. Hope you watched my grocery haul. And that was exciting. Everything's coming up so nicely in the garden. For my spring, early summer garden, I planted cucumber, zucchini, pole beans, and some cilantro. We'll see if that has time to come up. Yeah, we're just doing okra because I love okra. It is one of my all-time favorite vegetables. So yeah, we'll see if that comes up. Not planting any tomatoes this season. My winter tomatoes, well, they lacked something. They left something to be desired. But I'll tell you what we've been really amusing ourselves with. Last year, I had a little hummingbird that made its nest in my patio lights and my party lights, Anyhow, it made its nest right near a patio light. And had two of the most precious little hummingbird babies. Carrie in the comments was commenting that the fountain that I got for the dog, that the hummingbirds might love it. And they might, but they go back and forth in the outdoor fountain on the patio. The one that Andrew made for me 20 years ago, when we were young and in love. Anyhow, that hummingbird came back. And she's sitting up on her nest. And we sit out there all day long just watching her. You can't see the eggs, and the nest is so teeny tiny. And she's just precious, and she flies around and does all of her things. Hummingbird males, they're like deadbeat dads. It's kind of like a hit and run situation. And anyhow, so yeah, they're not involved in the nesting process. They don't sit on the eggs. They don't hang around. They don't pay any child support. Yeah, they're really, they're deadbeat dads, that's for sure. They just hit and run and, go off to spread their seeds somewhere else, I guess. Anyhow, I'm going to give these hands a little wash up, and then we'll get on with the rest of our stuff. Well, here she is, our little hummingbird mama. I call her Anna. Well, it's not particularly clever because she is an Anna hummingbird. And yes, that black speckled stuff you see on my rafter is in fact Dookie, but I'm letting it ride. I don't want to disturb her, and her babies. yeah, I'm excited about tonight's dinner. This is one of my favorite recipes. Yay, hooray! All right, all better, nice and clean, nice and tidy. You know, that's how I like to keep it. So yeah, we've been watching this hummingbird, and we can't see into the nest. So we're just assuming that there are at least one egg in there. You know, we're hoping for 2 or 3. But, you know, we just watch her as she come and goes. And she's an Anna. Hummingbirds are pretty prolific in Arizona. We have about 20 different species that cruise around here. I have some chopped frozen onions. I found these in my freezer, and they're not, you know, they're not my preference, but for some reason I have these in the freezer, and I just want to make them go on away. So I don't know, that's maybe like a 1/4 to a 1/2 cup of chopped onion. It's going to be all right. Have a little bit of cream cheese, just an 8-ounce block here. And we're going to go ahead and throw that on in. Here we go. Yum. All right. Need a little bit of a towel for my hands. Let's see what else have we got. We've got a little bit of Italian dressing, and there's just the dregs in this. It's not getting any younger or better looking, so we need to move it on along. Well, I'm not getting any younger or better looking either, but you can't get rid of me, baby, no matter how hard you try, and plenty of people have. And I like this Italian dressing because it's just going to add a little zip, a little zing to this dish. Yay, hooray. Can't beat that with a stick, I'm telling you what. All right, let's get a little bit of sour cream. Now, if you wanted to make this recipe even easier, you could buy an already prepared, you know, plastic container of a spinach artichoke dip and just omit all of these extras. I'm just trying to get some room in my refrigerator. Let me tell you, that refrigerator is packed to the gills. My poor sister, she opened it up the other day and hamburger buns hit her in the head. So we need, yeah, we need to move some things on along in there so that, you know, it's not a dangerous situation. Thank goodness it was just hamburger buns. So this is about 1 cup of sour cream, and there we go. A tip about sour cream: if you're having trouble getting through your sour cream before the expiration date or before it goes a little bit wonky, store it upside down and then it'll last longer. You're not getting so much air in there for possible mold growth, and yeah, your sour cream will last twice as long. Absolutely. Got a little bit of granulated garlic. Hello, Gilroy. And I'm just going to add some until my heart sings, until my heart feels full, until I'm happy. And I don't know, can you have too much garlic? You got to keep the vampires away, baby. Got a little bit of Italian seasoning. And let's just go ahead and add that on in there. Maybe a little bit more. More or less, whatever, you know what your family likes. You know, you do you. A little black pepper because I like it. And food just tastes better when it's seasoned. I don't know, just one of those things. So, add some of that. There we go. And I have a jar of artichoke hearts. I got this over at the Aldi. It's $2.39. It's just in water. They're not marinated. That's also one of the reasons why I added the Italian dressing. Now, if I had the good marinated artichokes, well then hot diggity, yay hooray, we would be in like Flynn with those, and I wouldn't have needed to add the Italian dressing. But you know what? This is what we could get. We're not going to complain about it. We're just going to be grateful that we got anything, because we live in the 2020s and anything's a possibility. I'm going to add the whole thing, including all of the water, and that's going to be just fine in there. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. But I do love those marinated artichokes. I usually get those marinated artichokes from the Costco. They're kind of in a bigger container, and those are just good. I like those for 3 a.m. snacks. You know, when I have a hot flash and I come out here to the kitchen and I'm eating pickles or sauerkraut or something, sometimes I have a little marinated artichoke snack too. All right, that's really all there is to it as far as how far I'm going to get today while we're at the doctor's office. So I'm going to put the lid on this baby. I'm not going to stir it up. It'll do its thing. It doesn't really need me. I'm kind of superfluous in this crock pot process. That whole set it and forget it thing. Kind of just, you know, Short Yvonne, you don't need to do much. And today, I'm going to take that as a win. That's a blessing, let me tell you. I'm just going to put the lid on this puppy, and I am just going to set it on low until we come back from our appointments. And then I'm going to add the spinach to this. Now, you could serve this over rice. You could serve this over pasta. You could serve this, you know, SOS style on some delicious garlic bread. I'm not going to say no to that. But today what I'm going to be doing is just serving this aside of baked potato. Because we got all of those delicious baked potatoes, those big bakers, you know, over at Market on the Move. And so I'm going to be serving this on the side, aside my baked potatoes. So I want plenty of veg in here because I do not want to make another dish. So we've got the artichokes, we've got the onions, and then for the last probably 15 minutes of this dish, I'm going to add some of that fresh spinach that I got from Market on the Move to really bulk this up and make it a complete meat and vegetable kind of a dish so that I'm not spending my time in the kitchen. So we've just really been spending time together as a family. And we've been watching Bosch on Prime. The books were written by Michael Connelly, and I read them all. I love them, and I think that Amazon has done an excellent job translating the books by Michael Connelly into a really good series. And the portrayal of Harry Bosch on the show and the character development is quite good. It's quite good. Now there is foul language and some partial nudity and questionable like crime and what have you. But honestly, I have really been enjoying Bosch, and so has everybody else. So that's what we're watching. And I'm reading a book by Carl Hyacin called Razor Girl. And Carl Hyacin, again, one of my favorite authors. That's poor Hazel. It's allergy season, and she's just been sniffling and what have you. She's on an Apoquil for her allergies, and it's about time for her pill. She's letting me know. Yeah, God bless her little baby heart. She needs a little allergy tab. Anyhow, so yeah, reading Razor Girl by Carl Hyacin, and I'm enjoying that, and watching Bosch on Amazon Prime. That's our evening shows, and we all sit around and watch them together, and you know, we're just spending time together, and you know, we're just healing up and taking pills and going to doctor's appointments and staying alive, ooh, 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 staying alive. You know, we're just doing the best that we can. And this dinner is not going to hurt one darn bit, let me tell you. Anyhow, I'll bring you back. We'll have some more chit chat.
In the pre-dinner chaos, I added an entire washed bag of spinach and about 1/2 cup of the Parmesan cheese to the crock pot and let that go for the last hour. This is how our dinner turned out, and I have to tell you that it was mighty tasty. Of course, we had all the accoutrements for the baked potato, including butter and sour cream. Yay, hooray!
All right, my lovies. Well, the dishes are done and the kitchen's cleaned up. And tomorrow we're having meatloaf, hot diggity. I got ground beef thawing in the refrigerator. Yay, hooray. You know what I realized? I was missing an earring. Yeah, I was missing an earring. I forgot to put my necklace on. You know what I can say about today? That my underwear were on the inside of my clothes. Yay, hooray for that. That's not a pretty sight. Nobody wants to see that. Lord have mercy on us all. Anyhow, thank you all so much for watching Crazy But Not Dangerous. You know that I love you. Sending y'all out great big old smooch-a-ronies and big squeezies. Y'all have a wonderful day. Be good, be careful, look both ways. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching Crazy But Not Dangerous. Bye now.